Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm vibing tonight with the BC. It's been quite a day. It's been an up and down up day. You know what I'm saying? Got some things clarified with my good brother who I love so much. But I want to answer Nick your thread. I'm vibing on it, and my answers kind of came to me in a gut kind of way. I like it when that happens, and so I said, okay, answer this thread now. Um, good luck, and you do, of course, deserve all the subscribers that you you want, because you're one of those people that I do make time to try and watch your videos. I haven't seen all of your videos still. I haven't seen all of everyone's videos. I don't think so. But when I watch, your personality comes through right away, and you express yourself well. I've been saying how that's important to me. It is, and you're just quite a personable chap. It would be neat to hang out with you. So I'm going to answer your questions, your thread, and good luck with getting 100 subscribers and more. Okay. Um, I do got to just mess with you for a second, because I really do like you, But when you said that you're a dough maker, for pizza, I said, man, that just in a real id kind of way fits, because just bear with me. You got that pudgy face. I mean, didn't your mom just want to come up and just pooch those cheeks, Nikki? Please. Uh, I'm a little crazy. Yes, I am. Nick, you're quite a cool cat to me. Seriously. And so you ask, number one, what do you do? Well, I mean, it's folks that have been following me, know that I walked off of my job and basically retired. You know what I'm saying? And you know, uh, it's amazing. After all that, if I needed that job, I could get it back. I mean, I maybe probably am, foolish to say that out loud, but I'm telling you, have no intention. That's not part of my plan. Is going back to work like that. But so what I do now, Nick, is I am in business for myself. I'll be declaring that tax-wise next year, as I'm a record company, or I'm a LLC. I'm going to be actually meeting with a friend who's in business. She has several businesses. She is on the board of directors of the old market merchants deal. Woman is badass and knows her shit, And so anyway, I'm going to be getting some good advice on taking care of my business, as far as being, Dereck, DVH Recordings is, I named my label a long time ago. Dereck 3 came out on Cocoa Art kind of as not a goodwill gesture, but as as part of being friends with my friend, my dudes, Cocoa Art. We hatched that idea here in my living room. And so my last single, not in Dreama, but I'm rambling, but let me finish, okay? My last single, the Dereck Higgins Dino Felipe, that was a joint venture with Public Eyesore Records and Cocoa Art. And so I just kind of felt like following up with that. And so my CDs and CDRs have been coming out on DVH Recordings. So Dereck 2 is coming out on DVH Recordings, my first vinyl. So that's what I do now. I don't really want to say musician, because I am, but it's like I'm more of a full-time artist. That's the way I see myself. Because musician for hire, that hasn't really settled well with me yet, that idea, okay? But the idea that I make music and art, and it's how I'm, attempting to generate income, that's what I'm doing. That's what I have been doing. And even though we're in some crazy economic times, I intend to forge forward best I can. So the second question is, show 3 summer albums, and I had to just not think about it so the answers would come to me. And it's so cool because they came to me right away from different periods of my life. And the first one that came, and I'll come in the order they came to me. The first one is Paul Horn, Altura do Sol, which means High Sun. This is an album that he did in collaboration with the Brazilian genius Egberto Gismonti. Most of these compositions, if not all of them, are by Egberto Gismonti, and it's pretty much Egberto's music with Paul playing some flute. This is such a summer feel outside in the park. The entire album has this ambience of birds and being outside, but I do believe in actuality it's not ambient recordings. It's actually the percussionist making the bird calls and the flute forest sounds with percussion. I've seen a few amazing Brazilian percussionists do that live. Just awesome. This is a summer album for bar none, and it's also a 10. I do not loosely bandy about my 10s, just so that you all know. But again, remember, the 10 thing is very singular, so this is a 10 for me. But yeah, this is a summer album. That's the first one that came to me. The next one may not seem like a summer album, but this album it seemed like the time that I would really listen to this. I don't remember when it came out. Maybe it came out in the summer. But the times I remember it having the most impact on me are summer. Is Genesis Selling England by the Pound. And I think of several summers. Several summers just came to me. The one when I was working in Texas as a teen, at a Bible camp. Probably the next summer when I moved to Albuquerque and I was about to go to college, start college, living with my dad. Boy, was that a trip, after he had left us when I was like about 13 or 14. So reunited with him when I was like, 19, I think. So this album has a whole lot of significance to me in summer. It just evokes summer. And now that I look at it, it's like, well, but of course it's a summer album. Look at the park bench and the whole motif about mowing lawns and stuff. I mean, it's just so kind of subconsciously there, you know what I'm saying? So this came to mind. And the other album that came to mind almost bam, subconsciously right away as a summer album for me is Porcupine Tree's Dead Wing. I do not remember when this was released. But when this was happening, it was summertime. It was warm out. I remember just seemingly for weeks playing this, and just getting into it. And also eventually just learning a lot of this album on the guitar out in my living room. Just really feeling compelled to play and learn these songs. So Porcupine Tree's Dead Wing is definitely a summer album for me too. Was it the second time I saw Porcupine Tree? I saw them up in Minneapolis at the Fine Line Club, is it? That's a jazz club, and I believe, no, that wasn't summer, or was it? I have 2 of these. This one is on blue vinyl. I have a black vinyl one too. Now, while I'm talking about it, there's an interesting anomaly about the vinyl of Dead Wing as opposed to the CD. On the song, there is either it's some kind of inside joke or it's a mistake on the cut of the album. I gotta find the name of the song because I can hear the name of the song. Mellotron Scratch. Okay. I can't play it for you through the video here because it won't come through. I don't think you'll really hear it. But there's one part of the song on Mellotron Scratch that when you're playing the record, it sounds like someone is actually wiggling the record. Like it's all of a sudden not playing steadily for just a matter of seconds, and then it straightens out. And what's interesting is I have 2 copies of this album, one blue and one black. It's on both vinyl. It's not on the CD. When I noticed this, I got a hold of Porcupine Tree through their website, through their forum or whatever. I left a couple of comments about this. Never heard anything back. I tried to ask about it. I tried to find out. So that brought that to mind. But this is a summer album, absolutely. Okay, absolutely. So the last question you asked is recommend an album that you haven't shown yet. And I'm going to follow your lead because one of the things I always do here is mostly show vinyl. But I have so much more music that I don't have on vinyl, on CD. So I'm going to recommend this. And it's interesting that I'm recommending it to you. I ought to make a different recommendation. Chances are you'll know it. No, I don't know that. But what came to mind was to recommend an old German psych prog album that is a posthumous release. In other words, it was dug up by this Garden of Delights label. But it's so cool. I mean, it's slightly kitschy, but it's really cool. It starts off really slow, and like for over a minute, you think, man, this is the worst album I've ever heard. I think that's why it didn't make it. Madison Dyke, though. This is some krautrock, like somewhere between Jane and Eloy, and trying to be Genesis a little bit, but not quite making it. That's why I say Eloy. But that's what I'm listening to in the background, and like as I'm listening to it, I hear that there's just a slight bit of amateurishness to the execution, and that you can tell this is early on in the band's existence. But what I've been listening to, once I got past the dreadful intro, and I'm going to call it like I see it, it just opened up in a really kind of cool, funky, what I would say German kind of way. It's like all of a sudden it's this hard rock, but there's the mellotron and the melodies coming through, and then there's a flute. And then we get back to these vocals where they're just, kind of, they're butchering English. I mean, you know me, I'm vibing. I feel good, and I'm just answering your thread, just how I feel. And so I'm recommending this Madison Dyke, and I'm talking trash about it because I like it, but I'm being real about how I perceive it. Frankly, I'm loving it in the background, and the vocals is the weak part as I listen to it here. But I'm hearing that the mellotron is majestic, and I'm looking at the book, and the book is really more of anything an advertisement for the label. But Madison Dyke, and as you said, Nick, yeah, I could go on for days recommending records that I'm sure that a lot of people don't know about. Bear with me. I think I'm gonna just look over here and grab something a little more recent. If something just screams out at me to show to you, okay? I think I've shown the Levitation. That came to mind right away. I'll go right back to it. Oh, well, no. Maybe I haven't. This is one, definitely, Nick. If you're interested in psychedelia, I know that it seems like you're very much into classics, modern classics, post-rock, but you're into the good stuff. So I'm going to recommend some good modern psychedelic synth-based rock, and that's the legendary Pink Dots. This is one of their albums that's rather hard to find, and this is an original. Brighter Now. I did sell a bunch of Dots, but I held on to them. Held on to a bunch too, thank goodness. Not a bunch, but I held on to some, thank goodness. Nick, I'm recommending this to you specifically, and anyone else that hasn't heard this band that is interested in hearing compelling, not only orally, musically, but Edward Caspell, the leader of this band, he weaves some very interesting stories and scenarios consistently, and they've made a ton of records. And very consistently, very interesting. The legendary pink dots. Okay, I'm going to let this upload and probably catch some of you folks on Facebook tonight before I go to bed. Congratulations and good luck on your contest. Oh, by the way, I have that uncle on vinyl. So, God, I mean, you know, I just have to say, you know, I would, if I won and I won that, I'd be just trading. But great contest. The red, hot and blue. I just have the CDs. I've been tempted to get that vinyl. I have seen the 10-inch, but not recently. All right, Nick. Congrats.